The 2020 census of the Virgin Islands is being conducted. It's a count of the entire USVI population.
A census taker will visit your household to conduct an in-person interview. Participate by answering all questions asked.
Your answers are confidential and protected by law. The results affect how much we receive in federal funding for our schools, roads, hospitals, and much more. Complete the 2020 census and be counted.
Good evening, and welcome to episode 32 of the Press Box. I am Dotson James, your guest host for this evening. Thank you for joining us. This is the break from us talking to you, and an opportunity for us to speak with you. We are pleased to have with us today Calvert White, Commissioner of the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation, who will discuss some new initiatives he and his team are working on to keep Virgin Islanders active, and also about how his department is providing services during the COVID pandemic. Don't forget to ask your questions and share your best ideas in the comment section. Now, Commissioner GQ, what's up?
Good evening, Mr. James. It's a pleasure being here to have this conversation with you. I always look forward to giving the community, information and share what the department is doing. So I look forward to having a great conversation and updating our public with what's going on with the department.
All right. Well, let's go straight to the chase. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
We have a lot to talk about.
There's been some talk about you receiving a raise. I know that's what we call a curveball. But what are your thoughts on that? And, because we want to get things out because, the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation is an integral part of this government. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was hoping that you was going to hit me a couple of jabs and then work our way into the question.
No.
You came out swinging straight for a knockout. No, great question. I'm glad you asked because, I've been quiet. I've heard all kind of stories for the last 3 weeks, about raises and people seeing NOPAs that's already signed and whatnot. I want to say it here publicly. I, Calvert White, have not received a raise. I have not received a NOPA to get a raise. But it's interesting that's in because when I took this position, I knew exactly what the salary was. Right. Anybody that knows me know I didn't take this job for the money. Parks and Recreation is a passion of mine. It's a love of mine. This department is dear to me because I'm sitting here before you because of what the Department of Parks and Recreation did for me. I played my first organized basketball game in a tournament that was hosted by Sports Park and Recreation. During that tournament, I was saw by the coach of Charlotte Amalie, Pedrito Estriel, and he asked me to come out and play for the basketball team in 10th grade. I didn't play school ball till 10th grade.
Pedrito's a legend.
Pedrito Estriel, 10th grade, saw the talent in me in a Sports Park and Recreation tournament, asked me to come out for the team. It was something that grew on me. I was able to go to college on a full-time scholarship, was able to play professional basketball, graduated with a bachelor in sports management. So this department is why I'm here now. So I know the importance of what this department does for the community.
You're considered a success story.
I am. And that was my motivation of coming back for the job. It had nothing to do with the salary. I am thankful that the governor sent down a recommendation to give the Commissioner of Sports, Park and Recreation an increase. Not Calvert White, the Commissioner of Sports, Park and Recreation, because it's not about me.
All right.
It's about the position. Act 6905 has been there for 14 years now, where you have held one department underneath everybody else. And it's not something that I like, but it will never be about the money. It's not about the money. If the governor decides to do that at a later date, that's on him, but it won't be anything that I would be forcing him or would stop me from doing what I'm doing for this department.
Good. I'm glad you get that out. Yeah. You were once the assistant commissioner. How is it now you've moved up to commissioner? What's the difference between what you did before and what you're doing now as far as the department's concerned?
the difference between being assistant commissioner and the commissioner. That's an easy one. You get blamed more. You know, as the commissioner, the vision is yours. You follow the lead of the governor, but the vision is yours to run the department. So you take on the responsibility of making sure that the mandates are being carried out. So it's a lot more responsibility as the commissioner, but I have a great team. I have a set of individuals that ride for me. They jumped on board and they saw my vision. And from the top to the bottom, and not even the top to the bottom, from left to right, because I like to see my employees on the same plane with me, and I depend on them. I think they see where I want to take the department, and they have jumped on board.
You have assistant commissioners also within the department?
Yes. So the Department of Sports, Park, and Recreation have 2 assistant commissioners, one on each island, Ms. Renee Hansey on St. Croix and Mr. Vincent Roberts on St. Thomas. And I can't thank them enough for the work that they do. The commissioner is just one part of this vehicle. My assistant commissioners run the day-to-day operations of my department.
Interestingly, you know what you said about your assistant commissioners. I was going to ask you about some immediate changes, but one of the immediate changes that I saw that you did was you brought in a new position called administrator. Now, folks, don't get me wrong. It's not the administrator of St. Croix, St. Thomas. It's the administrator of Sports, Parks, and Recreation.
Correct. I have 2 district sports administrators, and their sole responsibility is to make sure that our programs are being run. They oversee all the programs and activities in the department. I felt that before they was put in place that you had recreation leaders, you had youth community coordinators, and everybody was kind of doing their own thing. Now I have somebody that's kind of making sure that we're getting our mandates out. We're bringing out programs from young to old, and we're being able to deliver a service to the community.
You have a situation where your upper level employees on St. Croix are of the female persuasion. That's something new that is a big change that you made.
It is something new, but it's not something that I worry about. My top 3 senior positions on St. Croix are females, but I can tell you that they hold their own. These are individuals that are no stranger to sports. They've been around the battlefields for years. So they're very familiar with the department and what we're trying to do. And like I said, we have a great team, a great working relationship with my senior staff. And you know, I thank them every day for the job that they do.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm happy to hear that. You got a good thing going on. Now, we're all going through COVID-19, coronavirus pandemic. How has it affected your department and in your operation also? And I understand that there is something personal with respect to COVID-19 that happened within the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation.
Yeah, the department is no stranger to the effects of, I mean, we was hit just like everybody else was hit with COVID-19. It basically brought us to a halt. You know, the facilities were closed. The community centers were shut down. This year, we didn't even have a summer program. And we've got a lot. We tried, and we started seeing a lot of stories in the States where, you know, camps was opening, and then a week later they was closing down because the whole camp had COVID-19. And we've got a lot of flack in the community about, you know, some of our, you know, playgrounds not being open and the parks being closed. I want to assure the public that this was not a decision that we just made hastily. Our main concern is always going to be the safety of the people that use our facility and the staff that have to secure the facility. And it hit real close to home because we had an employee that was the 9th death in the territory because of complications to COVID-19. So we don't take it lightly. My staff could tell you, every day they're asking me, Commissioner, when are we going to open back these parks? When are we going to open back? So they want the parks open, but we really need to ensure that we do it safe so that we could limit you know,
contact.
Just contact and anybody contracted COVID.
Because I understand, like, for instance, we would love to have a softball game, but softball game brings out families, it brings out sports fans, and whatever the case may be. Now, it's probably difficult to have social distancing, but I'm sure you have an idea about that, how to do social distancing in the ballpark. Not to make any promises to the community, but have you thought about a softball game where you can probably have a softball game?
We've thought about bringing back everything, and it's so interesting because, like I said, for 14 years, nobody talked about this department. And now because of COVID-19, the children are home. Nobody's going to the facilities. Now, all of a sudden, now recreation is a big topic. What are we going to do to get these children back out, utilizing the facilities and playing? But I have some real creative people on my team. And we have even decided that we are not going to wait till the parks them open. What we plan on doing, and this is probably going to happen next week or the week after, we are actually going to create a live simulation where we are going to have probably my office staff. I'm bring everybody out to the office, have them go to the ball fields, and I'm going to have my staff that's located at the ball fields act as if this is a real life situation. People are coming to the ball field. We're going to get ready to play a softball game. Where are you going to put people for social distancing? Are there enough hand sanitizers at the facility? Are we going to allow them in the dugout, or are we going to spread them out outside? So I want my staff to be comfortable so that when we open back up the facilities, we are already ahead of the game. We know what we need to do.
Right, that's a fantastic idea. Now, as far as when you get the children back on the field, because eventually we got to get them back on the basketball courts, softball field, you know, the swings, whatever the case may be. COVID-19 has brought families together.
Yeah.
And is it one, I know it has always been my thoughts, especially when I was the president of the league, to make sure that parents come out. We need to get parents back out again. It's not just about when the fields are back open up, they lose the kids out and that's it. We need to get children, we need to get families, we need to get everybody back together again. So I know that you've been working on stuff like that. I know that the Little League has hurt you because, when I say hurt, because we have not been able to do it this year, and we need to get the Little League back up and running again. I have a question for you though. How many employees do you have territory-wide, I mean, with St. Croix and St. Thomas?
Territory-wide, I have 104 employees.
Territory-wide?
Territory-wide, about 104 employees. And it's interesting because only about 30 of those employees are actual recreation staff. That's not even 50% of my staff. That's what, 25, 27% actually deals with recreation. So people don't understand that this department do a lot of other things than just recreation. We have sanitation, we have grounds, we have maintenance and mechanic. We oversee the beaches. So this department, we're involved in a lot of different things that people don't realize. And you know, I've heard the talk about, you know, this salary and whatnot, and I like to turn a negative into a positive. I am just glad that people are now talking about the department, because maybe now we'll be able to show people that, you know, this department is an important department in our community.
As much people have been thinking, sports, parks, and recreation, it's very, very important.
Yeah.
Now, when I asked you about the employees, I do have 104 territory-wide. I remember when I came on board at Parks and Recreation, because I worked when it was housing, parks, and recreation.
Correct.
We had 170 employees on St. Croix alone.
Yeah. Well, you had that housing aspect in it, and once we separated, so you had a lot of the different masons and stuff like that. I mean, that was taken away from the department.
But it takes away from your operation also, because when you had a construction crew like what was happening years ago, you didn't have to worry about building fences or erecting. You didn't have to worry about RFPs and all the different kind of
You could utilize your housing component, and that's important because you know. One of the things that I tried to do when I first took this position is get my employees more resources. I can't ask my maintenance staff to go out and fix something if they don't have the tools to do it. I can't ask the grounds to go out and clear this land or cut this grass if they don't have the 0 tons to do it. They don't have the backhoes. So one of my first focus was to get the employees the tools that they needed to do the job. And my employees have always told me, White, get me the equipment, and we're going to get it done. So we have done a lot of moving money around, trying to get different grants, assistance where I could get our employees the equipment that they need to get their job done.
Okay. We have a concern, of course, the community is concerned about a lot of our facilities not up and running, or not back to where it used to be prior to Irma and Maria. You need to explain to the community how difficult it is to get these things. I mean, people think you're just sitting on money and not doing anything. So I'll give you an opportunity to educate the community. You
know what? Dealing with the FEMA process has been one of the most frustrating things with the job. I'm not frustrated with FEMA, but the process. It is a long, long process. People are not seeing the actual pounding of the nail at the facilities right now. We are visual people.
Right.
That's what we associate with work being done. However, that's the easy part. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
The hard part is what people are not seeing right now. The documentation of the facilities, getting RFPs to get out to get bids and stuff like that. Engineer estimates. These are things that, and I will be honest with you, that we didn't, before the hurricane, we really didn't have to deal with. But now, and I have about 60 facilities to deal with territory-wide, and my staff, like I said, have been really great in helping me get this process together.
Right.
But the hard part is now.
Is now.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get back to those facility discussions right in a few minutes. Right now, we're going to have to take a little short break, and we'll be right back.
Oh, you mean you wash your hands? Hey, you violent, my boy. Well, every time that you get touched, you have to wash up your hands. Put on your mask, practice some distance, stop spread corona. Like, it's Adamo. And on behalf of the Virgin Islands Department of Health, hold it down on all the mass gatherings. Wearing a mask not only protects you, but it protects your loved ones and your community. Like, help stop the spread corona.
The 2020 census of the Virgin Islands is being conducted. It's a count of the entire USVI population.
A census taker will visit your household to conduct an in-person interview. Participate by answering all questions asked.
Your answers are confidential and protected by law. The results affect how much we receive in federal funding for our schools, roads, hospitals, and much more. Complete the 2020 census and be counted.
I have
asthma.
But all asthma triggers aren't the same for everyone.
My triggers are dust, mold, and pollen.
Strenuous exercise.
Perfume and tobacco smoke.
Anxiety and stress.
To manage my asthma, I needed a plan.
I worked with a neurologist to identify my asthma triggers and found the best medications to prevent and control my symptoms.
As I got older, my asthma changed, so I talked to my doctor about adjusting my plan.
Partnering with my family and healthcare provider helps me manage my asthma and keep doing the things that I love. And now I can breathe much easier.
To learn more about managing asthma, visit doh.vi.gov.
Okay, we're back. Commissioner, we were having a very good discussion about FEMA funds, and we're going to get back to it because there's some initiatives and some projects that I know you're working on with respect to FEMA funds.
Yeah.
And these are big projects, and 4 in St. Croix, well, 3 in St. Croix and 4 in St. Thomas. But the one that I mentioned that I'm going to mention now has been a thorn since 2010.
2010.
That's Polly Joseph.
Yeah, I am confident and I'm hopeful. My fingers are being crossed. I told the governor, I already tell people that I am going to be the commissioner that is there when we cut the ribbon to Polly Joseph Stadium. And I'm confident that that's going to happen. The governor is pushing Polly Joseph. We have bi-weekly meetings with Public Works about the progress of Polly Joseph.
Where are we with Polly Joseph just week? I know you're having the meetings and discussion, but what has actually happened so far with Polly Joseph? Has a wall gone up?
So we know
anything?
that the property was on some land. The land was sinking, that they had to go in and put in some pylons and whatnot. That people don't see that work. I mean, I saw a diagram of how many pylons they had to put in the structure, and that was a lot to do. I was just down in Frederick walking today and was looking at that waterfront, and that stadium with that waterfront is going to be amazing. I am looking forward to bring sports tourism down to Frederick area. I think once that field is built, it's going to be easy to bring teams here.
Easy to market, very easy to market.
Not just bring teams here, but I think we're going to get back the inter-island competition that we need between, yes, St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. I just saw some good news the other day where the Port Authority is talking with the Best Western Hotel about bringing rooms here.
Right.
So that's very, very encouraging because we know if we bring teams here, we need some place to put them. But that facility is going to be multi-purpose. The outside of it, tourism is going to control that to do whether it's music fest and jazz and all that stuff out there, the carnival committee.
Right.
But we look forward to when that opens, we are going to have activities going on there.
Because Frederick said it's such a sleeping gem. It's such a beautiful town.
It is, and like I said, that waterfront is second to none. I was there a couple hours ago and just looking out. It will be so easy for me to get people to come here. We just did the soccer tournament with DC United, and we put that together in a matter of 7 to 8 months. And they loved it here. So I know a facility like that, we will get Frederiksted booming. You know, we're pushing that project, and like I said, I'm confident that I will be the commissioner to cut that.
You'll be the commissioner. You'll be, because they're working fast. And the governor did, well, I shouldn't put him on the spot, but he did promise to get this thing up and running. And hopefully by the time next year and a half, we should have something with respect to project.
I firmly believe so.
And by the way, good job on the soccer tournament. You guys did a fantastic job. And these are the things that we need in the territory. And, you know, and like you said, you know, the bringing St. Croix and St. Thomas back together again, like in the good old days when we had these different tournaments and whatnot. It's going to be great. And Polly Joseph is
the facility does not have to be only used for bringing in teams from Puerto Rico off island.
No, we
have our islands right there. We have people playing sports right here in the territory that we could start bringing that back together. And
we have teams that are traveling to different islands and whatnot that's doing a fantastic job, coming back champions, and they don't even have a good facility to play. So Polly Joseph is going to be something fantastic when we finally get up and running.
I think it will be, definitely.
Now let's go back to the federal funds. Since 2017, when Irma and Maria came through the territory, we've had some facilities that were heavily damaged. Vincent Mason for one of them.
Correct, Vincent Mason.
Beautiful facility. A lot of money's gone into it. Fantastic pool, beachfront property. Where are we with Vincent Mason?
Yeah, so again, I tell people the process for the federal government is something that I have no control over. I can't change. The hurricane was in 2017. However, the Vincent Mason pool is one of the facilities that is not even obligated yet. So I have not even gotten the money for that facility yet. But what we have done, we have been proactive, and we've already have an A&E service out there that's looking at the facility, doing the designs, so that once we do get the money, we're ready to start right away. But we know that Vincent Mason Pool is a big facility within not just St. Croix, but big in the Frederiksted area. I've heard some of the great, some of the best parties have been held down at Vincent Mason.
Camping, different things happening.
And we was just down there today, and we were talking about the ADA mats and what we can do with them. And then we thought, why not just make the pool ADA compliance where we can now bring people and do a machine lift where we can get people in the water. And
even for our seniors?
For our seniors. Yes. So there's some things that we want to do down there at the pool. Again, we are working on it. You're not seeing it, but this is the part where we're doing a lot of the documentation. There has to be designs of the property. The Fish and Wildlife now is asking me to come up with a design for lighting because we know that there's turtle nesting down there. And I will admit, I have never seen a turtle down there. However, I went down there today, and I could not believe the size of the holes that I was seeing, and they told me that there was the leatherback that was going out there nesting.
It's amazing, you know, this type of lights that you put up, a turtle will follow that light and come and do what it's supposed to do. So we gotta. You mentioned about ADA mats. You were at Kramer's Park today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little later. We got a lot to talk about, but you know, there's other facilities that we're working on St. Croix. We have Kramer's Park. I have to get the bungalows back up. We know that, you know, down there is big for camping. We're going to do a complete rebuild of the concession area, knock it down and bring it back up, kind of modernize it. Fort Frederick is another big one. Reynolds Jackson. These are projects that we have already started doing A&E work where we're getting the designs. And I'm not just calling this that they're more important than the others. All of our facilities are important.
You have like 60 projects you have to work on.
These are just some that we know are more heavily populated. So we're kind of trying to push them to get them out. On St. Thomas, of course.
I got to ask you because I want to ask you about Emil Griffith.
Yeah, Emil Griffith is right there on the waterfront. I think we're to 60% design from the A&E. And when I say that, these are things that we can't bypass. You know, VI code, you have to go to Public Works and get an engineer to sign off. This is stuff that I have to do.
How has that been? How has your working relationship been between yourself, Public Works, DPNR with permits and drawings and whatever? How has that been?
You know what? Commissioner Petty, I take my hat off to him because anytime I call, he answers the phone. And I know he's a busy guy. But Public Works have helped me out so much with some of our small projects as far as getting the scopes them done. You know, there's not enough engineers and A&E firms in the territory that we can get. There's a lot of work going on right now. So we have a couple doing, like I said, Emil Griffith Park is one that I think should be up to 60% design right now. The Corin Terrace down in the west, that's out in the paper right now to go out for bid. So we have a bid meeting coming up right now that we will have some contractors come in to bid on that facility.
So all funding, everything is in place?
Funding is in place for that. Lionel Roberts Stadium, I think, was obligated for us to renovate that stadium. Alvin McBean is another facility. We got some, and I don't want to call out numbers because there might be some contractors listening that, get the inside piece. But that facility is obligated for us to do some work there, as well as Lionel Smut Richards. So we have a lot of facilities. It's a lot of work. But again, I tell people, when you enjoy what you do, you can't really call it work, and I enjoy what I do.
So you have to say you've been very busy as far as
very busy. We have not slowed down, and I heard a senator say the other night that the parks are closed. They're not doing nothing.
That's a very well, like I said, it's like I don't work for none of them, but it's a very harsh statement. I mean, and I know. I
understand what he was trying to say.
Yes,
but
I understand that.
It is very far from the truth, because, as I just stated, the department have 104 employees. But out of that 104, only about 30 of them is who actually is working on the field.
And people don't really, how many facilities that you actually are over, and how many facilities that you never even get to.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people realize that most of the beaches, if not all of the beaches, fall under the Department of Sports, Parks,
VI code, all public beaches are under the...
But how many do you get to, for instance,
we don't get to all of them, I can tell you that.
So it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It is, but like I said, my staff, like I said, all they tell me is, Commissioner, get us the equipment, get us the resources, and we're going to get the job done. And I love that attitude with them. They have my back, but, we have not stopped since the pandemic. The grass don't stop growing.
And especially now the rainy season.
The grass don't stop growing.
Yeah.
So these employees are still out there cutting grass.
Yeah.
We have to still maintain the field, because if we don't attend it, the grass is going to grow back up.
Especially if you don't drag.
My office staff is still coming in to the office. So we are still working. We might not see the activities that are going on the field, but that's only a small percentage of what this department does. We control vendors. There's vendors that we oversee. So, I'm proud of my team, of how we've handled the pandemic, and how we're still, ensuring that we try to, do our mandates and get the job done, and we're going to continue doing the work.
Tell me another initiative that is in the back of your mind that you can't wait to get out. That's very important.
Well, I'll talk about it in the next segment, but we have to adjust to COVID-19. We know that with the pandemic, we're trying to limit contact with people and stuff like that. So my team has looked at things that we can do to still get recreational activities. So, for example, I just did this the other day. We bought 2 drones for the department. Now, I've never flown a drone. I don't know anything about the drone.
That's interesting.
But what we plan to do is, when we do open back up the facilities, we're going to videotape the games, have them live, drone footage, and then we could broadcast it on our Facebook page. So now you don't have to come to the facility. We're going to bring the facility to you.
But then you can't sell chicken and Johnny cake and french fries.
Well, we not now. Not now. But we don't want people going to the concession right now anyway. Initiative like that. Video games is a big thing. These children love to play video games. So the staff is looking into a video game tournament right now. During the summertime, we had virtual programs. We had virtual art programs. We did virtual basketball, volleyball, baseball, arts and craft. So the staff has been working. I think where we fall short is, and the governor says this all the time, if the people don't know that you're doing it, you really ain't doing it. So we need to do a better job of getting out to the public the things that we're doing. We know that everybody doesn't watch social media, so we try to get it out in the newspapers and on the radio. But even then, you have people who say, oh, we didn't know I was doing that. So, I think in November, we should be launching our new Facebook page. That's something very exciting to us, because then it's a one-stop shop to get all the information.
All right. Okay.
But those are some of the things that we're doing.
Okay, you hold your thought, because you could tell he's Celestino's son, so you got a lot of things to talk about.
I could talk all day.
We will be right back after this short break.
I have
asthma.
But all asthma triggers aren't the same for everyone.
My triggers are dust, mold, and pollen.
Strenuous exercise.
Perfume and tobacco smoke.
Anxiety and stress.
To manage my asthma, I needed a plan.
I worked with a neurologist to identify my asthma triggers and found the best medications to prevent and control my symptoms.
As I got older, my asthma changed, so I talked to my doctor about adjusting my plan.
Partnering with my family and healthcare provider helps me manage my asthma and keep doing the things that I love. And now I can breathe much easier.
To learn more about managing asthma, visit doh.vi.gov.
This school year, all VI public school students will learn from home, at least until January. That means you should be properly groomed each morning. Put on your uniform shirt and a skirt or pants that reaches to your knees. Sit at your desk or a table with your back against the wall and turn on your computer and camera before class begins. Your teacher and your classmates can see you now. If you don't have a computer, you will still learn with your class. But every student will receive his or her very own Chromebook soon. Learning from home is still learning. Let's do it.
Well, we're back again at the press box, and of course, my name is Dotson James. I'm your host, and I'm here again this evening with Commissioner GQ, Commissioner Calvin White for the Department of Sports, Parks. You know, he liked that GQ thing, you know. I noticed every time we said, "Is it a smile on your face?" He liked it, but
no. So this strategic. I figured if I dress really, really nice, the people then want to ask the tough questions and things.
Oh no!
I was trying to take their mind off of asking the tough questions.
Okay, well, we have a tough question for you from Doyle. Doyle wants to know, where are we with bringing back cricket to St. Thomas, and will we get back access to the space promised in Red Hook?
So cricket is one of the sports that I think it would be a great enhancement for the territory. If you ever look at a cricket tournament, you know, the stadiums are full. So when we talk about sports tourism, cricket is definitely one of the sports on our radar. We were looking at the property out in Red Hook to host a cricket pitch. And again, engineering have to come involved. There's several things that we want to put out there. Cricket pitch, originally there was a baseball field that was supposed to go there, a soccer field supposed to go there, I think education. That property out at Red Hook is the most sought after property right now.
Everybody wants it.
Everybody, but it was designated for sports. We have had some conversations with the Commissioner of Property and Procurement. It's still ongoing. But I would love to see, you know, or love to be able to give a cricket space to the people in the territory that play cricket, because we know that that's a sport we can tap into that will enhance the Virgin Islands.
There's a lot of revenue, but there was a cricket field down at Cancran, right?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
So unfortunately, after the hurricane, it first of all was used as a station, a site for debris.
Oh, wow.
So it was really damaged after that. And then after that, the Port Authority, who originally that's who owned the property, decided that they wanted the property back. So cricket was displaced. They've been using, or we've had some people using the field out at Ezra Fredericks at cricket, but it's not, I don't think, regulation size for what they need.
And, and when it comes to professional sports, everything has to be regulation size.
Correct.
You know, you just have
So, you know, I would love to make that deal happen. That's not a decision that only
You'll make it happen. You'll make it happen.
But I think we should really be considering putting a cricket pitch out there, because it's one of the sports that I think we'll have people coming in here every month.
All right. Get back another 2020.
Yeah.
All right. We have another question from Teresa. When we are allowed to play contact sports? I know we touched on that a little bit here, but...
So, again, that's not my decision. We are under the guidelines of the CDC, who is leading this corona pandemic, and the Department of Health. They need to be comfortable to tell us that, you know, Commissioner, we feel that the guidelines that you have put in place, we are comfortable with you opening back up the facilities. Safety is always first. I want to go out there. I've probably put on about 15 pounds since this COVID-19. So I want to get back out there and be able to exercise and run and play also. Just today, I had a conversation with Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner Nicole Sims. So we are going to be setting up a Teams meeting, because she's the one that's designated to handle sports in the territory, and this is the Department of Health. So I am hoping, Teresa, that within the next week or so, we can have something definite of when we can open up our facilities. We've already submitted the guidelines that we think we could open up our facilities that would keep people safe. The Department of Health need to go over those guidelines, and they need to feel comfortable that those guidelines would keep people safe coming to the facilities.
And you're comfortable, you know, I know there's a lot of different talks about what's going on nationally and globally, whatever the case to be. You're comfortable with the science that the Department of Health is working with us?
You know what? We are not ever going to be able to 100% be able to say, if you come to our facility, absolutely you're not going to contract COVID-19.
Right.
What I am going to say is my staff have already done the training. We've been trained in COVID-19, the precautions, you know, different steps you need to take to prevent people from contracting it. So I'm comfortable with my staff being able to do it. But at the end of the day, we are not the professionals, so I rely on the professionals with the Department of Health.
Right.
If they come back to me and say, Commissioner, I think you need to put some more stuff in place for us to feel a little more comfortable, then we go back to the drawing table and do that. But they might come back and say, next week, Commissioner, you can open sparingly. You might not be able to play games, but you could practice. Start slowly and then open up things. So that's what we're hoping for.
And then watch the data as to how things are coming in.
Correct.
Okay.
It's going to be a trial and error.
Hey,
you know,
it's something that we have.
We've seen people in the States open up their facilities and parks, and then a week later they have to close down.
Exactly.
You know, at the end of the day,
and it could happen here also.
Of course. And I keep stressing it. At the end of the day, my number one priority is going to be safety. I am not going to open a facility just to play games if it's not done the safe way.
The right way.
So again, we're going to do the work. We're going to follow the lead of the Department of Health, and we're going to work together to get our facilities.
All right. I know we'll come to the part of the program which I know you're kind of interested in and excited about.
Yeah.
Your initiatives.
You know, you're going to hear me talk about my staff a lot.
Well, talk about that because you know what?
You know, there's time that they don't make me look good and people come and say, you know, Commissioner, you love what you're doing, and I'd have to say, you know, that wasn't me. I like to give them credit.
They deserve the credit. I get ready to say that. They deserve the credit.
So
they do
my
the work.
assistant commissioners, which is Assistant Commissioner Hansen and Roberts right now, we were having a little power and you know, we're talking about when the facilities are going to open up, and we started thinking, you know, our seniors are going to lose an entire year where they're not going to get an opportunity to play sports. And those seniors might not get a chance where they can actually be seen to get a college scholarship. And that didn't sit well with us.
That's correct, yeah.
As I said, I was a late bloomer. I played 11th grade, 12th grade, 2 years of high school basketball.
You kidding?
2 years. Was able to get a college scholarship. Can you imagine a child, this is his last year, don't have anybody wanting to give him a scholarship, and then you don't have sports where you could play? So what Assistant Commissioner Roberts and Hansen did was, they came up with the bubble concept. We know the NBA bubble.
It worked.
And it worked. And I saw data the other day that for 4 months, not one person contracted COVID-19 in the bubble.
Yeah.
What they decided to do is take the top senior and junior athletes in baseball, basketball, softball, volleyball. And the last couple of days, I've been getting calls, you know, cussing me, saying why we didn't do football and why we didn't do soccer.
Soccer is huge.
And I tell you why that happened. First of all, football is one of the sports that is red. And when I say red, is one of the most when it comes to contracted COVID-19 with contact and whatnot. So it's something that we had to look at. We wanted to create a bubble where we put them in UVI. So initially, we wanted them to stay at UVI for 2 weeks, where they're going to actually stay there. They're going to do the classwork there. They're going to do their meals there. We're going to have trainers come in and train them for 2 weeks. Have individuals come in and do counseling, talking to them, making sure that they know that the SATs that they have to take, or the ACT, they go through the clearinghouse. This was going to be a one-stop shop where our athletes, seniors and juniors that have the potential of going on to that next level, we was going to hire somebody to videotape them, so that now that they don't play sports, they actually have that data, that video where I could send it to a school and say, here, this is me, I'm selling myself. Because if we can't do that, there are going to be some seniors that are going to lose out on an opportunity to play college sports.
And the thing about it is that even if they leave from the territory and say, well, we're going to do our last year, or last 2 years or in America, it's the same thing. They still have the challenges of trying to play.
So we're really, really excited about that. You know, the assistant commissioners, they're the one dealing with it. At the end of the day, I'm going to be the one that sign off on it to say it's a go. But they got a handle of it. We brought in a Department of Education with it. Commissioner Raquel Berry is all for she jump aboard because at the end of the day, these are student athletes. We've been having conversations with the university because we want them to host the athletes and stay there, and they've been great. There's some other guidelines that they're asking us to do. And then we're going to have to test these athletes before they get into this bubble, make sure that nobody tests positive and whatnot. So we're really trying to do or simulate what the NBA did for our athletes to give them an opportunity.
Are you close?
We are close, and I think, and forgive me, I think the start date for this is going to be in November. So we are there. There's a couple little tweaks that we have to do, but we're working really hard to make sure that gets done. So thank you to Assistant Commissioner Roberts and Hansen for your wisdom and your vision and dedication to our student athletes on putting this
Fantastic.
forward.
Yeah, you're right. Big them up.
The
Big them
SPR
up.
bubble.
Let me, I don't want you in particular to get any kind of trouble. Tell me a little bit about St. John. What's going on in St. John?
So, you know, Mr. Hill, who is my deputy director over there, you know, after the hurricane, we know that the modulars was put on Winster Webb Battlefield, so that kind of took away the battlefield for us.
Right.
But he have a great relationship on St. John, so we had some private donors that, you know, focus on the basketball court. So we was able to renovate the basketball court where we had the bleachers and we put new shade over the bleachers, donated a brand new scoreboard at Winston Wells, not Winston Wells, over at Pine Peace.
Yeah.
You know, I just paid for a new sign to dedicate that facility to Chopper Brown. The facility is named after Orville Brown. Sign is already purchased. We're going to be putting that up soon. But we have a great relationship with the National Park. And the National Park, and I saw the design the other day, they are going to be renovating the park that's right there in Cruz Bay. New playground equipment, LED lights, backstop, new scoreboard. And then they're turning that facility over to the department for us to manage.
No kidding.
In light of us not having Winston Wells, once that facility, and I already saw the design, I think the contract is out, that is going to be turned over. So we'll be able to have a facility for St. John. And then we're trying to get Oppenheimer Park back up. We know a lot of weddings is done there, which leads me into my next initiative, which will be our ADA access ramps. I'm really, really excited about that. Julian Henley, who's the ADA coordinator, came to me, and you know, Julian is confined to a wheelchair, and he said, you know, Commissioner, I have problem going to the beaches. You know, when I get to the sand, nobody can roll me in the sand. I have to ask for help. So I said, Julian, you know, let me know what we can do to make that easier for you. And we did some research. I applied for a grant at DPNR where I got some funding to purchase what's called an access mat. Now, the access mat is a simple structure that you roll out in the sand that makes the sand now able to traverse upon. Correct.
Firm enough, yes.
And I think we have some video that we're going to be showing. So, you know, imagine us coming to the beach in a wheelchair and you want to get to the water and you have to look to somebody to help you in. With this mat, you're going to be able to transfer from your wheelchair to the beach buggies, and then somebody will be able to roll you down real easy into it. It's going to be big, 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 because now we're going to encourage our seniors, our disabled population.
I noticed when you said senior, you took a closer look at me. What?
Anybody that have difficulty walking across the sand, whether it's in a wheelchair, a cane, you might have an injury to your foot. We are going to be able to now roll these mats out at different beaches in the territory.
I was just going to ask you, have you identified which beach?
We have.
I know you were at Kramer's Park today.
Yeah, today we was doing some assessments. Kramer's Park is one on St. Croix. We went and looked at Fort Frederick. There's some difficulties there because there's rocks right when you get into the water.
Right.
So I have another idea what I want to do with the pool and make that ADA accessibility.
The only problem with that, though, Commissioner, is the pool still where you don't have lifeguard services at the ocean, or you only have it in the pool itself?
We're going to deal with that. When I go to the next budget hearing, I'm going to ask for some more money to hire some more lifeguards and stuff like that.
Okay.
That I'm going to deal with that on the back end. I ain't worried about that. And St. Thomas, we're going to put them at Cookie Beach, Limburg Bay. And then, although Megan's Bay is not under the department, we felt that's the most populated beach.
Right.
So we would need to get one there. We already have this equipment in storage. We rolled out one today. We was able to see how it operates. We just have a little bit of simple stuff that we need to do, whereas
And how was it? How was it, the roller? How was
no,
it?
it's really easy. I could have pushed it with one hand.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's going to be fun. Like I said, I'm going to be able to ask our seniors now to come to the beach and enjoy our water, beautiful waters and whatnot.
Let's take a quick break again. It's going fast, you know. Let's take another quick break and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
This school year, all VI public school students will learn from home, at least until January. That means you should be properly groomed each morning. Put on your uniform shirt and a skirt or pants that reaches to your knees. Sit at your desk or a table with your back against the wall and turn on your computer and camera before class begins. Your teacher and your classmates can see you now. If you don't have a computer, you will still learn with your class. But every student will receive his or her very own Chromebook soon. Learning from home is still learning. Let's do it.
How you mean you wash your hands? Hey, you violent my boy. Well, every time that you get touched, you have to wash up your hands. Put on your mask, practice some distance, stop spread corona. Like, it's Adamo. And on behalf of the Virgin Islands Department of Health, hold it down on all the mass gatherings. Wearing a mask not only protects you, but it protects your loved ones and your community. Like, help stop the spread corona.
We're back again with press box. I'm sorry about that. I got me a little tongue tied there with Commissioner Calvert White. You were talking so much just a few minutes ago. I want you to continue what you were saying.
You know, the department have so much going on. Next time you guys invite me, I'm going to need 2 hours.
Okay.
1 hour ain't enough. I'm going to need 2 hours.
All right.
Because we have so much going on. You know, there's some more great initiative that you know, the staff is going. We are going to create a drive-in movie theater. We're going to do one at Lionel Roberts Stadium and one at DC Canagator.
And this is because of COVID again?
Because of COVID. We're being creative. You know, we're going to have individuals, and I think this screen have to be about, it's more than 80 inches wide. But we're going to create where we have people come into the facility. We're going to have staff there as ushers to direct the cars them where you go. We have a gentleman that have this system that he would put up the movie screen, you park your cars, and then the sound comes from the screen. He tell you what channel to turn your car onto.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then you listen to the movie within your car.
Yeah.
So that's another initiative we're going to be rolling out, both on St. Thomas and St. Croix. If I could do it on St. John or find somewhere where I could do it, we will. AC Hansen have this thing that we're going to do, what's called, and I know I'm going to say it wrong and she's going to cuss me for it, but we have a campaign that we want to do for beach cleanup. One of the big issues we have in our department is trash at our beaches. So we want to do a campaign encouraging people to keep our beaches clean. We got a bunch of bins donated from Lime Tree. And then there was an organization, and she's going to cost me because I'm not thinking of the organization right now, that did some painting on the thing, make them look really nice, that we're going to be putting all over the facilities, territory-wide. And we have a jingle that we're going to release. We're going to put this on Facebook. We're going to try to get it on the Access channel. And basically the matter is, if it don't fit, go with it.
Your garbage.
Go your garbage. A lot of time you go to the trash cans and the garbage is already full.
Yeah.
And then you see people just put it next to the thing.
Still trying to force it in, yeah.
So like I said, the saying is, if it can't fit, and I'm probably saying it wrong. If it can't fit, go with it.
But it sounds good.
Okay?
That part of it sounds good.
We have to be able to keep our facilities clean. And I'm asking the community to join us. Join the Department of Sports, Park and Recreation with keeping one of our best resources. The one thing that a lot of these tourists come to see, which is our beaches, I'm asking you to help me. We're going to supply the trash bins and put them around the territory. But if they're full, if it can't fit, go with it.
What I'd like to see also, I've always talked about, is maybe some volunteer groups that can go up to say beach at Christmas Park and rake that beach. There's a lot of invasive weeds that are now coming up. And, you know, that's no fault of anybody's, because when Mother Nature said they're going to do something, Mother Nature is going to do it.
You know what? The nonprofit organizations have always been great at this department. You know, usually when I go and ask somebody for help, they help. So we have people that, you know, sometimes go out and they do their own cleaning on the beaches. We join with a lot of nonprofits, which is a matter of fact, we have a big project that we're close to getting a contract signed at the Altona Lagoon, which is a project with AARP. They are going to be building and providing adult equipment for us at Lagoon, a fit lot, where our seniors could actually go to Altona Lagoon and work out.
I was just going to ask you about some things for the seniors.
And they are donating this to the department. Not only donating equipment, but they're going to supply funding for us to hire somebody to now teach classes to our seniors for 3 years. So we have a great relationship with our private sector. You know, the palm trees, I used to get cost so much for them palm trees down at Veterans Park, the dead one. I just did a site visit today down at Veterans Park down in Frederickstead. I met with the guy. He's donating 13 palm trees for us to replace back in Veterans Park.
Because those things just,
So I'm hustling now to make sure to see if I could get that done before Veterans Day. I think I'm going to be able to do that. But we have so much things to do. I'm probably forgetting some other initiatives.
No, I don't think because what you have mentioned this evening is a lot of things you have on your plate. I mean, a lot of things. You know, just the mere fact that you're trying to get those palm trees in place for veterans, that's not going to be an easy task to do.
It's not. We have to do some excavation, get the stump them out. We have to get a crane to come and now put them back in.
Because a lot of people who may not know anything about Veterans Park in Frederickstead, and that's Richards Park.
Correct,
Von Richards. That is an awesome facility.
You
know, a lot of work went into, the development of that. And it's just a matter of us keeping it how it's supposed to be. Because again, once you come into Frederickstead, it's such a gorgeous town, a beautiful town.
And it just goes to show that has nothing to do with sports.
No,
but it's under the purview of sports, park, and recreation.
Parks. It has to do with parks.
Correct. So when I tell people, playing basketball and baseball is only a part of what this department do.
Right.
We have a big mandate that we have to do, and
Let me ask you. You mentioned the gentleman for the disabled, Henley.
Yes.
What kind of disabled sports do you have? Everything or sports geared towards the disabled?
That's a tough question. About a year. No, it's not tough at all. We were ahead of you. About a year ago, we had a conversation. Actually, this was Tim Duncan wanting to bring this in. Actually, no, it was more than a year ago. It might have happened right before the hurricane. He wanted to bring in the disabled games. They was going to do a baseball game at Kramer's Park with people in wheelchair and stuff like that. I have been involved with the Special Olympics on St. Thomas. They've been dormant for a while. When I first took the position, I attended the Special Olympics games.
Right here.
On St. Croix.
Miss Janice Lee. Let me just give her a shout out to Janice Lee.
But we cater to everybody. A disability or a issue with mobility doesn't stop you from being able to participate in sports. So, great question. That is something that when we open back up, we need to make sure that we provide some kind of games or activities for our disabled community.
Glad to hear that. Now, we have a question that someone asked. What do you think is the best way to stay active at home right now?
At home?
At home.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of virtual programs out there on the internet. It's crazy. Since COVID-19, if you go and just put in virtual programs, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of virtual programs. So that is one. I would say find something that you love doing. It might be gardening. You go out and start a little gardening project. But I encourage people that if they have a family, make it a family event.
I know one of the questions people want to ask is, how do you not gain weight during
I think you have to get into a routine. If you say 5:30 every other day is going to be the day where I take 30 minutes out of my day to do some kind of recreational activity. You have to plan it and kind of stick to that schedule.
Right.
But I encourage people to kind of get into a routine, and then a couple weeks after, it's going to be something that you're going to continue doing.
Are you and your department working on something that we can tap into, like for instance, an exercise program where?
Yeah, the commissioners want to do a Biggest Loser challenge. It's a little tricky because with us not being able to actually be in contact with people, you're gonna have people not putting the actual weight and things like that. We want to be able to record. But that is something that we've been talking about for a while, doing an actual Biggest Loser competition. Not just about your health, but it's something fun. You know what I'm saying? We want to make it fun. And that's what we're about. We're not just all about sports. The definition of recreation is anything you do in your spare time.
It could be passive.
That you enjoy doing.
Reading a book.
Any leisure activity is considered a recreational activity. So we're trying to be creative. And I will tell the public, and this is a big one. A lot of times we get calls from senators and people, and there's not complaints because I never.
No. It's just that they have people to answer to.
They call the senators to talk about something that we need to do.
Yeah.
I love when the people that we serve call the department if there's something that we are not doing. That is my job. If we are not doing it, I need to address it. If we don't know that it's happening, and a lot of times we don't know. Going on Facebook and posting it sometime, if you just call the department, we'll get on it right away. So I want to encourage the public, hold me accountable. My job is to make sure that when it comes to parks and recreation, that we are, giving programs for people to enjoy, and that's what we want to do. So I encourage people on St. Croix 774, actually St. Thomas 774-0255, and on St. Croix 773-0160.
Those telephone numbers have not changed in 30 years.
Haven't changed. and I do something a little different. That's in because, as a commissioner, my job is 24/7. I give out my personal number to people.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't get it anyway.
I just ask people to be respectful. Don't call me 12 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock about a park, because the reality is I probably can't do nothing about it during that time anyway.
Exactly.
But I have two numbers. I'll give you the local number, which is 690-7181, and then my personal is 678-994-7181. I encourage people to call me because, when I took that job, I know that was part of it.
It's part of it, yeah.
I try to answer everybody's call. If I can't, I call back. But I'm asking the public, I am not perfect. I don't have all the answers. But me and my team work really, really hard to put out programs to give to the community.
Well, we're glad to hear that. And you also have some professionals within your department, so I want people in the public to know. But guess what? We're at the end of the program.
Already?
Already. So we want you to, any final thoughts, Commissioner?
First and foremost, I want to thank the Governor of the Virgin Islands and the Lieutenant Governor of the Virgin Islands, first of all, for giving me the opportunity to do something that I love. When I took this job, I told the governor that I had a vision to move sports in a certain direction, and he's been so supportive. The governor has given us money from Government House for swimming programs. He's big on swimming programs.
And he can't swim?
He can't swim?
I don't know.
Okay. I'll ask him. But he's given us money to do extra swimming programs, some over $15,000. When we got, I think, $2 million from the Department of Interior, the governor designated $735,000 to the department that we're going to be using to resurface and repave all the basketball courts, all the tennis courts, all the racquetball courts that are under the Department of Sports, Park and Recreation. As a matter of fact, I am just waiting for an engineer from from DPW to sign off on the scope for me to send back to the Department of Interior for them to approve. Thank you, Governor, for giving me this opportunity. And last but not least, my staff. If they are watching, I thank you all for the work that you do. I can't do this job without you. And we're going to continue to grind together. We have been in the news for the last 3 weeks, and it hasn't always been positive, but that's good. I take criticism and I turn it into a positive.
You got some
I don't take it personal. I love that people getting at us to get the job done, and it's never personal to me. I still gonna see you in the street and say I love you and ask you what we could do better. But to the Department of Recreation, DSPR staff, thank you guys for what you do. We are going to make a difference in the community.
And Commissioner, I want to thank you for being here this evening. I want to thank you for asking me to host this program tonight because Parks and Recreation has been near and dear to me. That's why I started many years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk
We're not
about
going to tell you age.
No,
We're not going to tell you age.
But you know, it's a department that's near and dear to my heart. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank the public for tuning in once again. We're happy that you will be able to participate in sending us some questions. The Commissioner could probably go for another hour because he told me that. But he has a lot of information.
We have that much information to give to the public.
Much information.
And we need to get it out. But we'll do it at a different medium.
And we'll get back again. If I'm lucky, I'll come back again and do another program with the Press Box. But it's been a wonderful evening doing the 32nd Press Box.
Wow.
On to the 33rd next week. I don't know who's going to be here, but guess what? If I'm needed, I'll be right here. Have a good night.